Hi, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. This is a general reading. It's for everyone, all of the zodiacs, and it's for this week. I have had a very interesting experience with this reading, and I'm going to talk about it throughout the reading. So I already pulled cards. I already did the reading, and actually this reading really actually echoes my own experience of doing the reading and what's gone on with my camera and my phone. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is actually I do really enjoy doing personal readings. I'm still doing those. Those are my favorite types of readings to do. There's a link to Etsy, and also you can PayPal me and you can email me if you want one of those. So I am still doing those, even though I've tapered down on this part here of YouTube, but I am still doing those. The other thing is, as I was preparing for this reading, I saw a wall coming down. It was like, I heard Jericho. That's what it seemed like, that old story, the legend of Jericho and the walls tumbling down through song, actually. But what I saw was like this wall coming down, this barrier to something, this resistance, this protective barrier. And we did get protective barrier here with the Cancer card too, as far as like the shell and protecting something. So that wall comes down and there's a flow of energy, there's a reception, there's the barrier between two people, between someone and maybe their calling, between someone and what they feel called to do, between someone and the divine. That whatever barrier was put up there comes down, and there's no punishment. And that was the key. There's no punishment. There's no retribution. It's just the wall is down. And the only punishment and consequences was the separation while the wall was up. That's all that there is. There's no, okay, and now you don't get a clear connection. Okay, and now you don't get to do this, and now you don't get to do that, because there was this barrier put in place. And so, yeah. So don't be afraid of taking that wall down. Or moving forward with something, or allowing there to be a much better flow of less resistance. You can stop resisting something without fear of it, without fear of a punishment or a consequence, because the consequence of the resistance is the consequence of the resistance. That's all there is. There's nothing greater, there's nothing more, there's nothing left over. It can't work like that, was the message I got. It would never work like that, to have people like removing the barriers between each other, removing the barriers between them and the divine, and then having like, okay, and now because you had that barrier up for 20 years, you're going to have to suffer. Because who would, and why do it? Why take down those barriers? Why, cross those burning bridges? Why not just keep them up if the consequences are going to be so bad? So the consequence was the separation itself. It was the resistance itself. So that's the punishment, was that you created a barrier between yourself and someone else. Okay, so the other thing is that I've done this reading at least once before, and a couple partial times. So my phone keeps, I think it's probably because I took it in the sauna. I think that's what I did. Not the sauna, the steam room. And it's just having glitches now. So, but the parallels here between what's gone on with my phone in this reading and what's gone on with the cards here are I think we'll be using this as a metaphor as we move forward. So, so the cards were arranged themselves on the table, and I'm going to go with it. So I've already pulled these cards, and I'm trusting that, pretty much everyone here knows me, has been following me for a while, and I don't need to like prove or display. Here I am pulling out these cards. I didn't create this story. This story arrived here through pulling of cards and the shuffling and the usual stuff that goes on with these. It wouldn't be interesting for me to go through and be like, ooh, and then we'll add this card and then a little for this. I don't think I don't know. So the end of the tough cycle approaches. Full moon in Capricorn. Oh my gosh, do I hope and pray that the end of this tough cycle is approaching. The end of doing this reading, please be approaching and on your way. So we have the end of a tough cycle approaches, and full moon in Capricorn, and we also got full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. So both of these cards, they've got some crone energy, they've got some wise energy. They've both been through a process, and a lot is seen. A lot of wisdom is available now. A lot can be understood right now. But so they both have this promise, the end approaches and the personal issue reaches resolution. However, we are still referencing a tough cycle and a personal issue. So so this is some difficulty, and I feel like this may not be the same difficulty, but we've been midst difficulty for the last couple of weeks here. So and then we have Capricorn and we have Cancer represented here. We have Earth, we have water, mud, represented here. So mired in some mud possibly. The Cancer has the shell. The Cancer has the shell, which has been sort of a protective force. That's been protecting itself from something. And as this personal issue reaches resolution, this defensiveness can resolve a little bit. And the end of the tough cycle approaches. Full moon in Capricorn are, Capricorn's interesting to me because it's a fish goat. It's a fish goat, so it's still got a lot of emotion there, and it's not. And then the full moon in Cancer, we've got a crab, we've got a shell, a hard shell. So maybe the shell, an earthen shell. I'm seeing like pottery or a pot or something like that, in which we keep something, we keep our softer self. But there is resolution, there is an end approaching, but we are still able to very clearly reference a tough cycle and a personal issue. So these both acknowledge that where you're at right now is no bueno. So then we have the ever unfolding rose, which also, you would think this would be like an eternity of rose scented smells, an eternity of, a rose that never stops blooming. How perfect. But that is not, well, in a way it is what this is. It's happening for you, not to you. So this difficulty, this cracked open is also what it says. It's happening for you, not to you. So this tough cycle, this personal issue, it is ultimately for your benefit. You will harvest a lot of wisdom. You will harvest something from this. There is a new beginning that comes in through this. But it feels hard right now. So this card also encourages keeping the heart open and reassures you that you are safe in difficulty. So this is ultimately for your benefit. So it's a little bit like the bad news is actually the good news. And there's a sense of like growing in faith in this. There's a sense of, and I saw this sand as like quicksand here too. So the mud, the earth and the water, sort of a quicksand here, and being mired in that. And it's actually quite a holy place, because we can trust in divine timing. We can trust in our guides, and that's all well and good when it's day-to-day stuff. But when it's a bigger crisis, when we're mired in mud, when we're stuck somewhere and can't figure out how to get out of a situation, that's when we really actually need that trust that we've built up during our day-to-day lives, like of just, communicating and connecting with our higher self or our guides, whatever you want to call it. That open communication, removing that barrier, I want to say, between ourself and our higher self and our guides. And this is being put to the test. Are you going to feel sorry for yourself during a difficult situation, during a stuck situation, or are you going to dig in and learn what you can learn and lean on your sources? So even though this difficult place where you're in, it is a sacred space. There is something holy here. There's an opportunity for connection, for deepening the connection to the divine. So it's happening for you, not to you. Okay. So, oftentimes when things resolve, we're like, oh, it's resolved, it's over. This too shall pass, and indeed it did. And there's that sense of relief. but we're in the this too shall pass phase. We're not in the this past phase, okay? So then what's this difficulty? We have the serpent again showing up here. So this is a repeated difficulty, such as your phone repeatedly shutting off during the middle of a reading and not saving a single thing. And it comes up again and again, the serpent, erosive force. And the serpent is very determined, very determined. So what I heard with the serpent was Edie Brickell's song, Lost in the Moment of What They Need. It's a line. It's like a 20 or 25, 30-year-old song. Lost in the moment of what they need. And it's just about people being just very focused on what they want. You know, if it's substance related, it's about wanting relief from inner pain, outer pain, wanting that relief and just being very focused on that and not really caring who they hurt or not really caring who they discard as they are there trying to get that need for relief met. And this can also be like, so it can be addictions, it can be obsessions, anything, you know, that's just very focused. Matt Hughes describes the serpent as hungry, a constant gnawing hunger, and it gnaws at the roots of a tree. So it has this corrosive, erosive force underneath something. And, you know, the last time we saw the serpent, we talked about how it separates you from the divine. And so that wall, again, that idea of that wall and this thing, only instead of a wall, it's a severing of the connection. It's a cutting through those roots so that the roots can't get the nutrients. So I'm almost seeing this serpent as some sort of need, obsession, or desire, either yours or someone with you, because there's definitely somebody else here. Yours or somebody near you, this obsession, trying, at least just habitually and repeatedly separating you from the divine, separating you from a greater purpose, separating you from, yeah, what you feel that it's separating you. It's creating a distraction. It's creating issues for you. It's creating these difficult cycles and these personal issues. So someone's personal issue may be creating a difficult cycle for you, or your difficult cycle may be creating a personal issue for someone else. And what I see with that is, yeah, just this erosive force of just someone's determination, or someone keeps going and they just get so determined. There's a look in the serpent's eye that is just like, if I were a root, I would be shaking in my dirt right now. I'd just be terrified of like what, not that you should be, but I'm just seeing this look in this eye, and I'm thinking this serpent's eye is so focused and so determined. And I think that, you know, it just seems inevitable that they're going to take you down, but they're not. This is somehow very beneficial for you. Then we have the scales trying to find equilibrium. So the scales, Libra, she's got Libra right here, the whole symbol for Libra. The symbol for Libra is scales. It's scales. And that's not like we plop one thing and then we plop the other thing and whoop, it's even. It's like this balancing act, this trying to figure out how to balance the needs of the serpent, possibly even at times legitimate needs. Like, we do need relief from our pain and suffering. We do need distractions from that. We do need, at times, you know, we can't just be like going hardcore, like, through, you know, the pain. I mean, we do need to address the pain, but there's also a sense of like, that's a way to relieve it also. That's the better way to relieve it, is address it, look at it, pull it up, examine it. But avoiding it, we can understand that because we're looking for relief. And that's a way in which someone has found a way to relieve some sort of internal pain and pressure. So, but the scales here, there's some sort of justice, there's some sort of weighing, there's some sort of trying to find some equilibrium. And then the scales sit right in between the serpent and the fawn. So we have this like very destructive force, this very determined force. And then we have this lighter, gentler, childlike force right here. And I think the scales are trying to balance between the two. And the fawn comes in as a new beginning, a new financial beginning. We have some wobbly legs here. The fawn can be a little skittish. I love how Matt Hughes has echoed the stars out here. This fawn could be situated anywhere, but it's situated within this cosmos, within the stars here, and then it has the stars echoed on its coat. And There's some sort of divinity in this incarnation. There's some sort of destiny in this incarnation here. But the serpent and the fawn, and trying to balance between the two, the innocent and the narcissistic, and I don't mean that in the DSM-5 personality disorder way, just as a trait or as something that comes through, because people can feel really bad about like how they deal with other people or how they treat other people when they get in this need mode, and that doesn't make them a narcissist. You know, they can. The feeling bad is a crucial part in not being not being a personality disorder. And then we have the spring, which is water. Oh, the fawn here with this. The Capricorn goat would have like 4 legs if it wasn't also a fish. But and it's interesting because it comes from Pisces too. And Pisces are the 2 fish, and then we have like half a fish in the new cycle. We still have sort of the leftover from the previous cycle here entering this new cycle. So, but we have, I feel like these are both earth signs. They're both 4-legged, or would be without the tail here, 4-legged, grounded, very real. So a very real new beginning, but a very old, bothersome issue, and balancing between the two. And then we have the spring, and then we have the Cancer here, this watery sign. And so the spring having, again, in the starry cosmos here, the Star card, the Temperance card, in the flow of things, also was reminding me of the Ace of Cups card. And it's actually the card that alerted me that the problem with my phone might be the steam room. But water being an issue here, flow of emotion, crying. The spring also being a season that we're entering, spring, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. Spring, entering that, growth, new growth. Again, the fawn here, another harbinger of spring, of new growth and new opportunities. So there's something about this new beginning and this old repeated difficulty that keeps coming up. So the spring here also, you know, when I first heard it, I heard these waterfalls as little trickles, but then as the readings have gone on, there's a thundering. So it's that growing rush of spring. I live near a waterfall, and I work like a block from the waterfall. So I live near this waterfall, and we're anticipating as spring starts coming on, it's going to go from the trickle that fall left us in to this thundering, powerful, like it is thrilling to stand next to it. I love it. Untamable, powerful, growing in power. It could be this fawn too, growing in power. And then the last card, Star Mother. And I saved it for last because it goes right into a reading. So this could have to do with a mother figure. This could have to do with, it says, how can you mother yourself? So no mother that has ever existed in the history of humanity has, which the mothers really are the history of humanity, but no mother has ever existed that was able to meet all of their child's needs at every possible moment. So I guarantee you that no matter how wonderful and devoted and dedicated and excited your mom was to be a mom, there were some gaps. They didn't get everything. So it's your job, it's all of our jobs to fill in those gaps and to give us the care, give ourselves the care that did go missing. Because our moms they're just people. It's almost like moms are like bosses, and your siblings are like co-workers, and you know, you might have them for a time. The relationship, the metaphor breaks down, but the relationship is, you know, you don't always get to pick your boss. There's ideas and theories about like how we plan out our life before we come here. So outside of that, just very realistically in the 3D right here, how we experience things, these are people you may or may not get along with. These are people that may or may not have your best interests at heart. These are people that may be very dedicated to you wholeheartedly, or people that couldn't care less and aren't really here to nurture your development. So your job is to fill in the gap there. Nurture your own development. What's that term? Managing up, in a way, like managing your manager, telling your manager what you need, what you want. How they can best help you, what you'd like to achieve, that kind of thing. But it's more internal. You're managing your internal manager. You're helping yourself here. You're mothering and nurturing yourself. And that our underlying for the tarot was Queen of Pentacles, which I found very interesting, because Queen of Pentacles right here has her little Capricorn brooch here. The Capricorn brooch right at the center here. The Queen of Pentacles can literally be a literal actual mother. This could be part of the eroding force, or maybe something else. But we have Star Mother here. And we have the Star Mother and the Queen here. So the Queen is very focused. I see this as like possibly having a vision, doing maybe quantum journaling or vision boarding or something like that. Really focused on the future, on next steps. Practical and real is what this pentacle is. Possibilities, practical, real possibilities. This could be like actual mother. And with this mother card is always about the mother. So very practical. And this could be about a relationship with your mother. This could be about a mother in a relationship. There's mother here, though. Possibly even grandmother, right? And then for the recent past, we have the Lover's card. So this can be, typically we interpret the lover's card. That's really funny. Okay, there's something about that, about land lovers, and because this Lover's card is about decisions and choices we make that may be very inconvenient to others. So sometimes others can perceive the choices we're making that are very inconvenient to them as the serpent, but in fact, they may be what's healthiest for us and what's best for us. So the Lover's card, though, this decision, and I'm seeing the scales here too as part of this Lover's card, this decision point, the serpent and fawn, the new beginning, or the same old routine. The serpent and fawn up here reminds me of someone who's trying to quit something, trying to quit smoking, and they try again and again and again. They begin quitting again and again and again. They begin, this erosive force that keeps coming back, but they try again, they try anew. Anyway, so you have recently made a decision to go towards what you love, to navigate by what you love. So I'm thinking about the North Star. I'm thinking about how we navigate via that North Star. And there's so many stars here and so much of the cosmos. So, I do see these lovers on a ship at night under these stars and trying to navigate. So navigation, we use the North Star to navigate. So we set where we want to go, right? And we might have to steer in the dark, and we might have to steer by starlight. I think it's actually easier to sail by starlight. I'm not sure. I did take sailing lessons for a while last summer, but we did not discuss how to navigate, open ocean with no land nearby. We did not discuss that, or stars versus sun. So the sun's always moving, the North Star is not, so that's why it's used to navigate. It's a desire. So we can navigate with a desire, with a point that we're looking at, with something we want, but we can't navigate out of fear, because I was thinking of this fawn getting spooked in the forest and panicking and just running all over, getting lost, whatever. So fear is how we get lost. And love and desire and what we want is how we can navigate and move ourselves forward. So the Lover's card indicates that there was a choice point at some point. Do I stay focused on what I want, or do I completely panic? And you might still be in that choice point. You might every day of your life find yourself in that choice point. Do I panic and, what would you call that? Like freak out with fear and with no direction and get lost? Do I panic and get lost with fear? Do I panic and get lost, or do I stay focused on the thing I want? So the Lovers is about like, do we make decisions based on what we are afraid of, or do we make decisions based on what we want out of life? So keeping that optimistic focus that we've had to talk about, like from our to-do list for the last couple of weeks, keeping that optimistic focus. So it looks like you made a choice. Seven of Wands, you are currently standing your ground. You have a right to stand your ground. You have a right to think what you think and believe what you believe. But boy, does this look like having to fight a lot of fires. There's a defensive mode, which we also see in the Cancer here, this defensiveness and defensive mode of just like having to defend yourself against a bunch of naysayers, against a bunch of people that disagree with you. And just a lot of little fires. It seems like weird to me, not weird, but it's just a little petty, right? All these people, you're the one with the high ground. You're up here. You're having to defend over and over and over again. All these people coming at you, like challenging you. How do you get the high ground? I don't know, man. I'm up here, so I got it. So that's what's going on here. Why did you get that? Why you shouldn't be up there? I should be up there. Well, someone's going to be up here, and it's going to be me. Okay, deal with it. So, so having to defend yourself, maybe because you did make an unconventional choice, maybe because you aren't freaking out or aren't making decisions based on fear, this terrified, startled fawn. But there is like you could be as terrified, startled fawn is what I see here, but you're not. You're standing your ground. You're getting grounded. You're very much where you're at. And you might even be trying to fight to stay where you're at, trying to hold your ground. You're holding your ground, but it seems a little annoying because what you want in your hopes, fears, inner landscape is to move on. You want more fulfillment, but instead you're stuck here having to deal with this past, or these people, or this past, these people that aren't standing in your shoes right now. I'm hearing heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's this card. People that aren't standing in your shoes where you are now, aren't making the decisions you're having to make now, aren't in your position at all, trying to tell you what to do. This can also be like a lot of petty concerns. This seems like there may be some pettiness, or people that aren't in your position thinking that they could do it better than you could. This is what unsolicited advice always sounds like. I could do it better. If I was living your life, I'd do it better than you, because I would do this and I would do that, and you should do this and you should do that, and I know better. But you know better. You know best. So you may be in a defensive mode. You maybe made a decision, and maybe people disagree with you, and you're feeling like you have to defend it. You don't even want to be here, though. That's the weird thing. You don't even want to be in this position. You didn't ask for it. You don't want to be in this position. What you want is you want to move forward. You want to go on. You see that there's more satisfaction. There's better satisfaction for you. There's something better, and you want to get there. You're longing for it. Like right now, you're standing on this ledge having to like, no, I know what I'm doing. No, I know what I'm doing enough to have gotten here. You don't know what you're doing enough to have gotten here. I know what I'm doing enough to have gotten here. There's like a certain sense where you're owning your space. You're owning what you have accomplished and where you're at. Like, if you've been a parent for 10 years and you know this child and you know yourself and you know the situation, and then you have a bunch of people saying, you should do this, and none of these people actually have kids, or they all have toddlers. You're like, no, there's a reason why I have a 10-year-old. I was able to keep someone alive for this long. There's a reason why I'm here. And I'm going to do things the way I know best. And you're maintaining that. But what you'd really like is just to go move on from this, right? So you're stuck here, but you can see this whole path forward, and it's calling to you, and you want to move forward, and you want to go towards this moon or this star. That we can call that, I'm seeing that as the North Star because of this similarity here that you're staring at. You're staring at a possibility. You're staring at some sort of intuition, or you're staring at a very real situation, and you want to go there. I want to go there. But that's what you want. And you can see the path, you can see how you could get there. Maybe not the whole path, but instead you're stuck right where you're at, having to defend yourself. But there is something better that you would prefer to be doing rather than this. What's at issue? No communication, no movement, nothing going on here. No communication. So it's reminding me of my phone going off. Like, there's no reading, there's no communication. You're not actually doing this. There's no communication here. It's 8 of Wands reversed. There's no movement, no communication, no changes. And then we also have the Lovers card here is 6, 7 of Wands, 8 of Cups, 6, 7, 8. And then we also have the 8 here. So there's some sort of glitch at the moving on process and being stuck here trying to defend your space. But there's some sort of glitch in the moving on process. And there's maybe nobody's heard back from anybody. Maybe there's someone you might be waiting to hear from, or some entity that you're waiting to hear from, but you don't. This fawn is really struggling to wobble its way forward. It seems like this new beginning is having some kind of wobbliness. So in your environment, 2 of Cups, there's actually like the potential for a really good connection with someone here. There's a heart to heart, and there's like 2 very different people. This is actually reminding me of the scales, just the balance between the 2. I think there's some resolution of this serpent, because I'm seeing the snakes here. There's some resolution of the serpent there too, but it's very balanced between 2 people. And there's like a conversation, or there's 2 soulmates, or there's something here. And it sits under the Lovers card. So it does make me wonder if this Lovers card isn't actually, we see it and we're like, oh, lovers, oh, that's so romantic. But that's not, the card is about love and the choice to embrace that love, the choice to go towards that love, the choice to connect with something you love. But I do see like the wall in between of no communication or defensiveness or something has created a wall. But there's a really beautiful conversation that can happen. And there's someone here ready to connect with you. There's soulmate energy here. And sitting under the Lovers card, it does seem like it could be a relationship. Although the rest of these cards have someone sort of solo, these 2 cards do have deep connection to them. So there is a deep connection, 2 of Cups. Between 2 people. So in your to-do list, judgment, using good judgment, of course, but also the past coming back for reevaluation, possibly a redo. So this is where I hesitate to bring in this relationship idea, but it is judgment, is reevaluation, taking a different approach. This is releasing things that we don't need. Releasing something that has been used up. These spirits are they're releasing their bodies. This could be releasing physical items too, letting go of physical items. But there is a lot of the end of a cycle here. And an evaluation. Like, it's card 22 there are 21 cards in the major arcana, and this is card 20. So, I meant 20, card 20 also, in addition to being the end of a cycle. So it's an approach of an end of a cycle, but we don't end the cycle. Like, oftentimes I talk about these major arcana as part of a pinball machine, where the Fool is pulling it back. Are we going to go? And then it goes all around, hits all 21 or 20 spots over and over again. And this Judgment card is sort of the... when the pinball goes to leave the machine and we hit it back again. So there's like a renewal, like it's not over. The game's not over. And the game's not over. The pinball hasn't passed through the gates here. There's another round, a redo possible. But I did want to read, I felt very called to pull out the book on this. This is Matt Hughes' Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck. I did want to read it. Astrological correspondence is going to be Pluto. Judgment shows when it's time for self-evaluation. You had a crux for reaching a new life and must purge those things that would hinder you from being renewed. So we have purging those things that would hinder you of being renewed and being right in the center there too. So I thought that was a cool, being right in the center of this newness and this old thing that is hindering you. So a new approach possibly to a same old problem and leaving that problem behind. And there's a final release here too with this. But it's not the World card. It's not the full ending. It's right before, right when you think, I hate that phrase, but right when you think something's over, there's a possibility for renewal or a possibility for something new, but you're going to want to use all of the lessons you learned, all of the points you learned. But that was Matt Hughes's take on judgment. But you're going to want to evaluate something and get a fresh take on it. So judgment is like the sun card I always think of. You turn in the paper, everything you know, everything you see, and we got the sun card in this position last week. Everything you know, everything you see, bringing it all in. And just showing, this is what I know, this is what I see, this is what I got. Showing your cards, laying them on the table in a way. And judgment is the evaluation. It's when you get the paper you wrote back, or it's when, we realize we count, we see what everybody's cards are. And then how would we redo our decisions? You're like, no, I shouldn't have folded so early, or, oh man, I should have gone all in. Or, oh gosh, I really shouldn't have done that other round or whatever. I'm not much of a card player, but, you kind of can evaluate it, but it's like the game's not over with this. The game is not over. There's more. But in order to go on and continue on, there's something that needs to be dropped. And it could be about this wall. It could be about a connection with someone, and something needs to be dropped from that connection in order for it to be healthy moving forward. There can't be punishment or retribution. Okay, and then we have Wheel of Fortune, so something unexpected. So when I first did this reading, this is when my phone cut off. So, and then the phone thing, as far as this repeated situation that comes back again and again and again and doesn't seem to let up. And so what I did was I kept problem solving and troubleshooting. I deleted a bunch of old readings off my phone. Maybe it's twofold. No, that wasn't the problem. So I let go of a lot of things in order to have renewal. But what I really realized was that it was my SD card that had gotten corrupted in the steam room this morning. So just right, we weren't over. I wasn't going to quit on the reading or give up on the reading. I just kept going and trying to figure it out. So this is the idea of quitting smoking or quitting drinking or quitting something, releasing it, letting go of, maybe you always do the same thing. And this is let's keep problem solving, troubleshooting. Unless we want it to be over, we're going to have to keep, unless we want to give up, we have to keep troubleshooting. What's the problem here? So Wheel of Fortune, something very unexpected happening, out of your control, out of your hands. It might be for your benefit. Honestly, I've never done a reading with the cards already out on the table and looking at them and seeing the connections to them. And it might be something I enjoy doing going forward, because it had me able to think a little more deeply about some of the cards and draw connections between them, because sometimes I'll turn this off and I'll be like, oh, the connection, that's what that was, or I could have connected that, or oh, of course, so it might be something that feels very unlucky, but is actually for your benefit. This is the luck card, random luck, good luck, bad luck. But all these cards here are saying that whatever bad luck may be coming in, whatever difficulty may be coming in, it's for your benefit. Keep going, keep trying to figure out, trying new things, figuring out things, taking the lessons you learned. So that's what it was. It was the paper comes back and it's all marked up, in red ink, and you get a chance to redo the paper before the end of the class. So that's what the judgment card is. Take everything you learned, all that feedback, all those notes, redo the paper, because it's not over, okay? And then Wheel of Fortune, something very unexpected happening that you don't really have any control over, and you might not even be aware of at the time that it's happening, but something unexpected is happening. So that's Wheel of Fortune for you. Out of your control, out of your hands. You may have done something a long time ago that started this wheel turning, and you may not be aware of it, but there is, so it may feel random, but it might not actually be as random as it feels. So something very unexpected, which I think is really interesting, because you may not see an end to this tough cycle. You may not see an end to this personal issue, and then the unexpected happens. I don't know if it brings an end to it, but you're trying new things. And oftentimes, like, we get in these, the same cycle repeats over and over and over again. This erosive cycle repeats over and over and over again. We begin over and over and over again, anew, over and over and over again, with best of intentions. And sometimes we forget that we need to change something, try something different. If this is always the way it goes, if this is the routine, break up the routine, try something different. If what's currently you're doing isn't working for you, just try anything different, and you'll get feedback, you'll understand more, and then you can, again, go through the process. So these animal cards, I love them. This one fell on the floor. To me, that's especially auspicious. So Peacock Spirit, let it shine. Be proud of your heart, I think. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of, there's a display aspect here. I'm seeing like the shimmering display aspect. Being proud of who you are, communicating who you are. Yeah, letting your, we got this a little bit last time, letting your authentic heart just flow. Flowing that light, maybe we're talking divine light here too, or divine love. Flowing. Let it shine. Do not, it's that barrier being removed from your heart chakra, from your throat chakra, letting it shine. Opening that curtain or whatever wall or barrier was in there, and being open, letting it shine. Okay, and then two more. Whoa. Okay. Remember, we got Star Mother and Queen of Pentacles, which looks like a literal mother. Choose your divine medicine. This is medicine of the divine mother. Okay, we have mother again here. Choose your divine medicine to feel grounded and peaceful. Ooh, to feel grounded. Maybe not peaceful, but grounded. Your morning walk, daily prayer, yoga class, your time to dance each evening or meditate. To do an oracle card reading or sit quietly with a cup of tea and reflect upon what you are grateful for in the moment. Simple daily routines done with awareness allow you to feel my love for you. So stick with your routines, stick with your self-care routines for sure. If you do not have a self-care routine like meditating, or dancing or something like that, if you don't have a self-care routine, last week would have been a good time to establish it, but it's never too late. So medicine of the divine mother, which is so fascinating because we already got Star Mother, divine mother. Magic of the moon to manifest. Oh, and then we have Rose and Mother here. And one of my family names means Mother Rose, which is how I get Empress Rose here. So magic of the moon to manifest. Again, we have the moon here. We have this moon intuition. Just as the light of the moon ebbs and flows, all things happen according to a timing that benefits the greater garden of light. Yes, if you are practicing relying on divine timing, now is the time to apply that practice. How short-lived that garden would seem if all flowers bloomed at once and then it was over. As the next moon grows full, set your intention. Your time for blossoming is near. And we have these full moons here. Your time for blossoming is near. Fascinating. Setting intentions. And time. Time is really our co-creator, It allows us to exist. It allows us to have conversations. And it allows It allows all of the individuation and individual paths to happen. So very beautiful. Okay, well, I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for stopping by here. Very much appreciate it. And we'll see you next week, hopefully. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye.